All right, guys, welcome back to another 10-Minute Tuesday. This week, we've gotten a few different people that have reached out and sent us some suggestions for 10-Minute Tuesdays. And if you guys have one, please feel free to send us a message on Instagram and let us know what you want to talk about or what you want us to have us talk about. But this week, we're going to do... who sent this in, Joey?
I'd have to look up his name.
We're gonna talk about the difference in calling for ducks and geese, whether you're hunting water or you're hunting a field. And Joey is going to tell us who gave us this question.
Clayton Hubbard.
So thank you, Clayton. It's a good one. I think one of the bigger things to be thinking about, especially if you're hunting in a field, is your hunting situation. If you're hunting an X or if you're hunting traffic, because that's a pretty big difference in how you're going to be calling at those birds. If you're hunting an X and you know they're coming there no matter what, sometimes, depending on the situation, you can be doing a little bit more harm than good if you're calling too much at birds that have already been in that field, right? And it's very normal for us to get into a field and want to blow our goose calls until kingdom come, because we do a lot of traffic hunting. So it's almost instinctual. You get in a field and you just want to pick up your call. It's almost impossible. It's like a second nature. And it's always funny to me when we're hunting with people and it's like someone's field and they're like, oh, these geese are... They weren't being that vocal, like they're coming here, though. There's, birds in this field. And what's the first thing people do? Oh, yeah. They see the first flock, and they're locked up, and they're coming no matter what. And people blow their call anyway. That's like the funniest thing to me. I'm just waiting for it, no matter what it is. Oh, they're coming here, and there's 1,000 in the air, and they're fucking locked up, and nobody, it's like people can't help. Start blowing their goose call, and you're like, dude, they're coming. It's okay. Calling at ducks on the water, I think you have to be more vocal. You have to be louder. That's just my opinion. You're trying to get their attention, and a lot of the time when you're hunting ducks in a field, you're attracting them. I think you're doing a lot more attracting them with like your spinner, and if you have a good goose spread out, like ducks are going to come into that field. I usually feel like when I'm calling at ducks in a field, it's more quiet.
Really?
Not like initially. Like if you're trying to get their attention flying by, of course you're going to call loud at them. But I feel like for me, when ducks are coming into like a cornfield, I don't feel like I need to like bark at them.
Oh shit! I love to call it ducks in a field. It just helps center them up better. Otherwise, they just kind of, especially when they get kind of flary off of the spinner. They hit that 40-yard mark and they go up. So if you're able to keep their attention all the way down to the ground, like usually they're coming across the field, so you call at them, and then you can just see them instantly turn. I don't think you need more than 2 to 3 duck callers in a field, just because you end up stepping on each other's toes and whatever, especially goose calling, you end up stepping on each other's toes. But going back to like the X for geese, I feel like what you were saying, people overcall. And we've been hunting with a lot of really good goose callers the last, forever.
Yeah.
And people will end up blowing all of these pressure notes that are super aggressive. And if the geese are already coming there and you start doing those notes when they're 100, 200 yards away, you start to notice a little difference.
Yeah. I think the reason for in my head, calling ducks in a field... If you go listen to ducks feeding in a field, this is just my opinion, I guess, but they're generally quieter than if you go listen to a bunch of ducks on water. Like when I go listen to 100 ducks sitting in a group on water, I hear a lot more like quack, 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 quack. That type of stuff. Mm-hmm. When you go see 100 ducks in a field, which makes sense, they're busy and they're feeding, but you don't hear a lot of hen mallards in a field doing a lot of like loud, whack, whack, whack like that.
Yeah, I mean,
totally. Would you agree?
Kinda. Yes and no. I mean, I've spent a lot of time scouting field mallards, and it's hard to get close to them without spooking them. So, when you are able to get close to them, you hear a lot more than you think. Because you think about when we're scouting for ducks in fields, like you're a section away. You're a quarter mile away, half mile away. So you don't spook them. and you're watching them come in. You can't really see them on the ground unless there's snow. And so you want to stay away, let them come in, don't spook them, whatever. So you can't hear a duck call as far as you can a goose call, in my opinion. But no, I just think for the field for ducks, I'm just always loud. I'm always barking at them hard. That's just my personal. Whether it's a feeding chuckle, whether it's a Cajun squeal, that's like my finisher note for ducks in general.
Mm-hmm.
But then in a field, it just imitates them eating. Going,
right, for sure.
And they're like, oh, yeah, she's eating. I want to go down there.
Yep. Yeah, maybe it's just my perception. I just feel like whenever I scout birds that are on water, too. You know, and that's the biggest thing. You have to just read your situation. You know, you want to be able to learn to, actually read birds and call at them with purpose. But I think that there's a lot more overcalling than there is undercalling, without a doubt. And I think, when you listen to ducks in a field, I don't think you will hear it. You know, you will hear you will hear quacking.
Yeah.
But I just feel like when you're on water, they can be like really freaking loud when you're sitting on a puddle on water.
For sure. And here's the cool part, guys. There is no right way to do it.
Yeah.
Period. So like what we do is we'll go out there with like a general game plan. Be like, okay, we're duck hunting water, like a small water hole. We don't need 6 guys duck calling, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you have that one person of your group, and then after a couple of flocks either work or don't work, you change your game plan. So you're reading the birds as you go. But generally for like geese on a feed, you really don't need to do a whole lot until they start to know something's up or whatever, and then you start calling to get their attention again. But with ducks and geese on water, I think they're so vocal, like you said. They're so vocal, and they're just so much more sociable.
That's the thing. It's more social, you know, like, and that's why I always feel like when I'm in a cornfield for mallards, I'm like, I want to call to get their attention, but I hear what you're saying though about centering them up, because they will fuck around. Mm-hmm. They will fluffy fluff, you know, a little over here, a little over there. Patty cake. Yeah, they're playing patty cake.
They're playing patty cake.
They do get to be doing that. I do feel like once they get close enough, though, like if you just hit them with some basic, you know, simple, soft quacks, you can center them up, but I do hear what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, and especially this year with, like, how bad the hunting was at home here, I've really been focusing on, like, when to call.
Right.
Too, and that's just obviously the most important.
For sure.
Plain and simple, but you have to, like, make a shitload of mistakes in order to know when to do that. And even then, I feel like I'm pretty decent at knowing when to call, but there's so many days where I don't kill my limit, so it's like... Do I really know what I'm doing?
There's no exact science, man. And like when you hear guys like Scott Trinan or Sean Stahl, like guys that have been doing this forever and very seriously, when you hear those guys say they just didn't want to do it today, I don't know, it just didn't work today. Keep in mind, bro, like those guys are still having days like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, you will never figure them out entirely, and by the minute you do, they will change everything they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I just there's something about knowing when and how to call.
Yeah.
I think that's the most exciting part about hunting. And if you knew exactly what to do every single time, I don't think it would be as fun.
Right.
Period. Yep. I think that's the cool part about waterfowl hunting is
nothing's guaranteed.
You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And they'll go day to day.
Mm-hmm.
The same group of geese could love you blowing in their ear till they hit the field. And then the next day, if you called them, they'll leave.
Yeah. I was just saying this to Flum, because like that first or the last day that we were hunting there, and like the geese had been in there heavy, and they were trying to get in there heavy, but they were just flying around. I don't think they were seeing our hide because we were in snow covers and 2+ inches of snow, and the calling sounded good, exactly where they wanted to be. Not too many decoys, not too little.
We didn't overblow them either, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. And I was telling Matt, it was just like, I need to understand barometric pressure and how it affects birds. So I need to start journaling and like, okay, ducks did it hard this day, but I don't want to do that unless I have a piece of property that I'm going to hunt every day.
So it actually makes a difference to patterning.
Right. To like actually have a control.
Yeah.
The control is this water hole. This many birds have been using it this many days, whatever. We're not shooting into big flocks or whatever. You know what I mean? Just like make it so that birds keep coming back to it. And then judge the selenial table.
Selenial table, yeah.
And the barometric pressure.
And the moon cycle.
I pretty well understand the moon cycle, but
a lot of new hunters, though, like, you would miss that. Those
are the two that I need to understand, and I feel like that would make me a more well-rounded waterfowler. You know? Because, like, if it's a high-pressure day, they're not really going to fly, and they're probably not as vocal. You know?
It is crazy when you talk to old like guys that have been doing a long time, and they're like, no, barometric pressure's fucked. I'm not going tomorrow. Like, what?
But there's 200 ducks coming there.
Right.
You know, and they still don't want to go. It's like, whoa. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.